Hi there, welcome to benlaws.uk. I'm Ben Laws, I'm from the UK. That kind of keeps things very simple. There's not a lot of stuff on here at the moment. Check out the About page. You've got a lovely picture of me, which I'm sure you'll frame and keep by your bedside, and a little bit of a summary about how long I've been trading, that I've kind of blown up some accounts, done some bloody stupid things, and now I'm kind of sort of on the straight and narrow, and maybe some of my posts can help. But essentially, this website is a diary for me to keep a kind of typed out record or a little video record of stuff that I've done, either good or bad, and maybe throw up some points for discussion, and maybe dish out a little bit of advice if and where it's appropriate to do so. And just to let you know, I trade a trading system called Trifecta Free, which was developed by Rob Booker and his team at TFL365 is the website. I think it's .com, TFL365.com. I'd urge you to check that out. There's absolutely tons of trading advice and more information on the system. I'm going to try and keep my videos short. I don't really want to waste sort of like half an hour of your time on a video, but today I'm just really sort of showing sort of trades of the week, what I did well, what I didn't do so well on, mainly for sort of my benefit, but also for your benefit if you're in sort of similar positions or have had similar trades or in a trade at the moment that is sort of similar. This kind of shows you how I go about doing things. I'm going to talk about the euro pound, and I've done a lot of scribbling here. So let's just sort of kind of start out with a nice early morning sort of session here in the UK, sort of 1 o'clock to, well, from about 10 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Not a huge amount happening. About 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, it kind of picks up some steam, moves downwards. We get a big shot upwards. I'm assuming some form of economic data is there. And here, circled here with this kind of green flag around it, and I'll circle it again and then delete so it's a little bit cleaner. You can see a missed hourly pivot. I've kind of identified that and flagged it for kind of hoping some divergence is going to be printed a bit later on, and very shortly thereafter we have a red divergence line here. So I've seen that red divergence and I've drawn my trend line up. Okay, it's broken it more to a sort of sideways direction and up, but I've gone ahead and taken the trade anyway. I have a structure of, depending on how much money I've got in my account, and this will be a subject of a different video, but I have a structure of kind of going in at 5 lots or 0.05 lots on my first trade, as I assume my first trade is going to be absolutely an appalling entry and the market's going to move against me straight away, rather than sort of going in at, I'm going to go in at sort of like 1 lot or half a lot and sort of bet the whole of my or a good percentage of my account on that first entry. History, put my teeth back in. History tells me that never worked well for me, so I always enter small. Which I did in this case, and sure enough, the market moved up against me, as we can kind of sort of see. It's gone up, not very great for me, but there's no problem because I've entered small. What's happened again shortly after is then we've got another line of divergence printed, and I've taken a second trade off the back of that by drawing another long trend line here. And upon the breach of that trend line at 80134, I've taken a second trade, another sell trade in line with my structure. The first trade was at 0.05 loss, and the second trade 0.10 loss. And my target is represented by this green profit target line as that missed pivot, email. So I'm happy I'm in. I would also probably say that I'm also looking at this red 8 hourly pivot as a potential profit target, and why I've done this scribbling stuff here is just to kind of identify that between this pivot here and this pivot here, anything in this zone is kind of considered fair game to take profit. If it comes down to, say, about here and then starts to go back upwards, I wouldn't be ashamed to take some money out of the out of the trade, maybe close half a position, or maybe close the entire position. So this is my profit area with this green line here on the hourly pivot being my most extreme profit target. Moving along, and I've kind of done some more scribbling. These sort of times here, not a lot of movement, not a lot of volume, nothing really sort of happens. And I've done a lot of scribbling there. Let me have a look at that for you. All right, I'm going to delete. Oh no, I didn't mean to delete that flag, but hey, I did. There was a flag here. Where's my pen? There it is. Right, there's a flag here. Oh dear, that's not my pen, that's my moving. Okay, there was a flag here because that was a missed pivot, so I've eyed that up. And then what's essentially happened is the price has moved up, and here it's kind of reached its high for the day, and then it's kind of settled back down, and then it's come back to it again. Okay, I've got a missed pivot here, as I've already sort of discussed, but I haven't got any red lines of divergence, so I've really got no reason to trade. But you can probably see here that I've traded again, and I've gone in a little bit bigger this time. I've gone in at 0.20 lots. My ideal structure is 5, 10, and 15, and 20, and so forth. But I didn't on this particular occasion. I broke those rules. Hands up. Why did I break those rules? Well, I had no technical reason to do so, but I did. You know, it's me, it's my account. I can do what I like, and I fully appreciate that. I could have got myself into trouble if price, you know, went completely in the other direction. But then I still have my sort of stop loss, which is set way above. It was a percentage of my account. You know, so that would be my sort of infinite sort of rule that wouldn't be broken. But hey, I messed with the lot sizes. I just did. I sold again 0.20 lots at 80240. The target has obviously sort of changed now. The target, yeah, the target had changed. This trade free, I can't remember what my target was, but I mean, I'd be looking at perhaps something like this green line here, maybe even this one. It would mean I take a loss on the first two trades. The first two trades were 79960, so would have taken a loss on that one if it had hit that particular target, and 80134 would have taken a small loss on that. But the trading the higher lot sizes as you kind of sort of go further and further into this kind of technique, it does mean that you take a small loss on some of the smaller trades, and that's outweighed by the profit on the bigger trades. Ignore this break-even line for the moment because that isn't really in force yet. What happened shortly after is it went up again, and within sort of 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes of me taking the third trade, I'm in with my fourth trade, and I'm in for a higher position of 0.30 lots. So I'm in quite sort of big now, but nowhere near sort of my percentage thresholds, nowhere near my stop losses or anything like that. I mean, I'm comfortable with it. As it happens, the trade rides down. Once it gets to 80249, I'm essentially even on all of my trades. And I actually moved my profit target. I set a profit target of 80150. Now let me sort of draw that as a line, if I may. 80150 is about there, and it's just not too far underneath this 8 hourly pivot line, and price duly broke it, and now I was in profit. So there you see, I started off with the rules quite well, waited for the missed pivot and the printing with divergence and the break of the trend line, and then divergence set up again, and then they broke a trend line again, and then I took another trade, and then obviously a long period of time has passed, and then I've just sort of taken two trades off the cuff, which perhaps I shouldn't have done. But in this instance, despite it being a little bit messy, I've still staggered my trade entries. I've still chosen appropriate profit targets, the trade has worked out for me in the end. So that was a nice trade. Looking at something a little bit more perfect, the very next day, or maybe not the next day, I think this was the Friday actually, a couple of days later on the 15th, I'm looking at this currency pair again, and I'm seeing a missed pivot, which I flagged, and then there's a divergence, which I flagged, and I've kind of missed it. I've had my eye off the ball. I've gone and done something else, maybe looking at a different chart or something, because some period of time has elapsed until I've entered. But hey, I mean, I've entered at a decent price. I entered in at 80186. Just move this up a bit. Oh no, didn't want to move that. I wanted to move this. 80186, and I've targeted this missed pivot here, and lo and behold, within minutes it's gone and hit my trade. So it's a perfect trade. The rules were obeyed, entered in at the right lot size, entered in more or less at the right time, or at least at a good price. I've waited for the setup, and I've continued it. So, I can obey the rules. It does happen from time to time. I generally prefer it to go a little bit against me, so I can add to my entry. But so this particular trade is one of the most boring for me, because it's just too simple. Wait for this, wait for that, take a small entry size. Oh, and then it's all over again. I'm going to look for the next trade, but I'm not going to complain about it. It's money, it's profit, and that's the beauty of Trifecta 3. Thank you very much for watching.